Hey y'all. So this video was supposed to be something completely different. I recorded an entire breakdown of how I made Stitch from Lilo and Stitch. The sculpt, the repetology, the textures, the lighting, the rendering, everything. And the recording didn't save. 3 hours gone. And I say 3 hours, I'm talking about 3 hours of a week every day. And it's all gone. So I just sat there staring at the screen just thinking,
you know how much I sacrificed?
You gotta be kidding me. Cause I'm struggling right now thinking that I wasted all that time. Not wasted, but just took the time to make something so beautiful, and you guys can't see that I actually struggled making Stitch. But I then remembered I have something completely different that I could be recording instead of re-recording and pretending nothing happened.
Hide the pain.
So I decided to make this video because it connects to something much bigger. I get a lot of questions about whether someone should get a degree in game design, whether Full Sail is worth it, whether you even need to go to school into gaming, because if you don't know, I went to Full Sail University for my bachelor's degree of creative writing and for my master's of game design and computer science. Now, fun fact, when I first went into Full Sail, I was already in gaming at SCAD, but I wanted to do something particular in the field that I didn't know really existed or not, which was narrative designing, which, if you don't know, narrative designing is not just writing short stories or novels. It's literally coding, writing, and also designing, hence the word design. You can't just write something and not make it into real life, which is what I wanted to do. And Full Sail came in clutch because SCAD was starting to have me heated. So I decided to go to Full Sail. They told me, yeah, they have all that, which was a dream come true because I didn't know they did. And needless to say, the bachelor's degree showed me that was completely false, and there was a very small percentage of time doing something in gaming. But that does not mean I regret going to them for creative writing.
No regrets.
I've honestly been avoiding talking about it for a while because I don't want it to sound bitter, but I also refuse to lie. So if I'm going to showcase my work on this channel, I need to be honest about how I actually learned how to do it and the time it took for me to learn how to do it. So before I talk about school, let me show you what I've actually built. First, it's Stitch. This model right here, fully sculpted, cleaned up, textured, and lit by me. This wasn't magic, it was iteration. I was studying shapes, it was fixing topology, mistakes, it was reworking proportions over and over until it felt right. That's why losing that recording hurt so much. I didn't just want to show the final render, I want to show the process because process is proof. Anyone could post a final image but the real skill is in how you built it. And I would like to say, I didn't just do this, from the top of my head. I ended up finding a tutorial on YouTube, which albeit it wasn't really a tutorial. She had it fast paced. I'm assuming this person is a woman.
What did you just say?
But, and I shouldn't, I'm sorry. But, basically what they did was do it in a really fast paced, video. And I just ended up slowing it down and taking it step by step, which I think that's how a lot of people do. So if you want to know how to do 3D modeling, my first suggestion for you is go on YouTube or even Udemy. It's super cheap and you can literally learn things faster than going to school for like 4 years for the same thing. But let me make this very clear. As I just mentioned that I took a tutorial, which wasn't really a tutorial. A lot of my work is from tutorial, besides the game designs that I actually did by myself with no tutorialing. And that's what I want to make this very clear. Most of what I know about 3D modeling didn't come from a classroom from Full Sail. It came from practice of my own, from watching tutorials, from breaking down my own meshes and fixing them, from staying up late trying to understand why something didn't look right. It was me. It was not Full Sail.
Guess what, asshole? I did it without you.
Okay, and then next would be my first person shooter project. Again, I did this by myself on my own project, or what is it called? My own practice, my own time, basically. Now, this one was a tutorial that I had learned from Unreal Sensei. If you guys don't know him, he's actually really amazing. How he teaches the process is it's more structured than what my school had did. I'm gonna get in so much trouble talking about this school, but it's worth it.
You are in big trouble, young man!
Anyway, when I first learned about Unreal Sensei, it was because I had just actually gotten into a Naughty Dog interview, and one of the questions that the QA people had asked me was, do you know how to do Python, and what's your experience in game design? Now, I had experience with QA, and I'm thinking this QA is more or less similar to, FedEx Ground QA, where you find something a mistake and you fix it, which that's pretty much what QA is. But in this particular case, it dawned on me, I have no clue what gaming does in the industry. I know how to play it, I know how to write a story for it, I know how to code a story for it, but I don't know how to actually fix what is wrong in gaming. So Unreal Sensei, he pretty much, was my main person to go to for a while to learn how to do things like functional first-person shooter that I built in Unreal Engine 5.4, I believe. And because of him, it has a movement system, shooting mechanics, hitting detection, basic AI behavior, and luckily enough for me, because I was well aware of how to already do designing from games like, and I can't believe I'm going to say this, but like Sims, you're pretty much doing your own design in your home. So I was able to do a level design structure. I'm actually really proud of this one because even though I took a tutorial from Unreal Sensei on how to actually do the shooting of the first person shooter and like even targets, I didn't take the tutorial on how to do my own level design, and it's actually like literally completely interactive and it works. So not having a broken game as one of the first games I made it's like really it's really rewarding. Again, I would like to say this very clearly. I learned this foundation straight from Unreal Sensei. I'm following structured tutorials, understanding blueprint logic, understanding how systems work. That taught me more practical Unreal Engine knowledge than I got from the entire master's program. And unfortunately, that's not an exaggeration, that's just the truth. Once you understand the system's input, output, logic flow, state changes, you can build almost anything in Unreal Engine. That clicked for me outside of school. I'm also working on a Stray inspired project that I haven't finished editing that video yet, mostly because I haven't had the privacy or space to really lock in creativity the way I want to. Creative work needs quiet, it needs mental space, and sometimes that's kind of hard to get, especially since I just moved back with my family. So, if you ever had a family, there's really no such thing as privacy. And when I say Stray, I mean like the actual YouTube video. I did a video that I have yet to edit, and I'm just not gonna even think about making a Stray inspired game because that is a lot more skill than what I have. But back to the FPS project, the environment design, the lighting, the atmosphere, that was me strictly just pushing myself. I could have easily gotten on Marketplace from Unreal Engine. Sometimes they already have like these city landscapes or environmental designs. I could have easily just downloaded that and killed my computer by trying to put that into my game and merging it, but instead of doing that, I decided to do level design because I realized it kind of puts me at peace, putting trees everywhere and structuring the flow of where I want the game to go, which is why I would highly recommend, if you are into level design, please go on Udemy or go to Unreal Sensei, go to game.tv and learn yourself how to do that, because it is one of the most valuable things in the game industry that I myself did not know besides software development and engineering. But that leads the conversation about Full Sail. Back in 2021 to 2023, I did creative writing at Full Sail at first, and I loved it. That program was strong. We had instructors who worked in the industry, people who had real credits, like we literally had a teacher that worked on Marvel or DC comics. And then we had another teacher that worked on Boys Meets World, and he had real life stories to tell us. people who told us the hard truth about rejection, competition, and what it actually takes to make it. And that's what I appreciate. I don't think anybody in who's into journaling or writing, anybody who's trying to become the next J.K. Rowling or Stephen King is gonna be like, oh yeah, my book is gonna get out there and hit markets the first book I read. No, we all know we are, well, not know, but expecting it to be hard. But I didn't think that they were trying to they were just telling us the hard truth, because I noticed a lot of people from certain degrees of Full Sail, they'll say, they didn't tell us that it was gonna, they definitely warn you like, hey, writing is not really a, it's not really a career that, or not a career, but it's not something that you should really depend on if you're trying to make it big sometimes, because it's all based on luck. But that's why I loved that creative writing. And on top of that, I feel like the director of Full Sail for the creative writing program was just much more professional. You know, I would love to say the creative writing program was perfect, but there is two notorious professors that do kind of make it difficult for you at the end of your journey with Full Sail, your creative writing degree. I'm not going to say their name just because I don't want to get in trouble, even though I'm like a small YouTuber, but I'm sure Full Sail has ears everywhere.
This is for Moody! You put him last, even in death! The fuck you say?
Basically, one professor gave me an automatic 0, even though it was on her end. She was already kind of a difficult person, so instead of just confronting her, I was like, screw it, I'm gonna talk to my career advisor or my my school advisor about this, because how it was supposed to happen, we turned in our essay or writing or short story about something into a third-party website other than Full Sail, but for some reason, she, even though she knows it will show that it was not turned in, she would still give you an automatic 0. So me being someone who's like, I turn in things on time, and I'm not even gonna waste my breath on her because she gave me a hard time. I just went straight to the team at Full Sail. Thank God it handled immediately. I got my A back. It was no issue. Then I had another professor who is just the biggest jerk at Full Sail. I don't even know why they still have him. He was so rude. And, you know, I'm not someone who takes well to people talking to me in a certain tone as if I'm stupid. So I was like, this guy, he's not it. So I reported him. I'm not going to go into detail about what happened, but if you look up Rate My Professor in Full Sail, you're going to see exactly who I'm talking about, because he's notorious to talking to his students in like a completely, I don't want to say, yeah, I'm just going to say it. He talks to you like you're a complete idiot, and he doesn't agree with what you write, so he'll rate or grade you lower than what he but what he wants you to, which is not right. Let me just say that. But other than that, like that creative writing program, it was like heaven. It made me want to write everything. I definitely got inspired to doing and going into genres that I didn't think I would be into, like sci-fi and mystery. Truth be told, even murder. I should probably look into that. But anyway, that I kind of hate how great their creative writing program was, because it gives you a false narrative of what their game design program is. And yeah, it was not the same. Like, it's honestly disheartening how bad their game design master's program is. When I say my time at Full Sail for the master's game design, my experience was completely different. To break it down, when I joined their master's game design program, this is like right before I got hired at Amazon, and I accepted it still because I didn't think it would be as egregious as it was compared to a 2-year degree versus a 1-year degree, which is their master's program. I'm working 12-hour shifts. I tell all my professors that, not expecting them to give me any, some privilege because I'm working 12-hour shifts. But I was expecting them to kind of act the same way as the bachelor's degree program people, more professional, more I guess, empathetic, because it was not the fact that I wasn't turning in my work on time, because I made sure I kept doing that. It was the fact that I was literally, they have this thing called an internship at Full Sail, which is not, it should not be called that. It's just extra work for doing something that you already know. And they were not understanding that I could not make every meeting at this fake internship, because while they're at their meeting on the East Coast, I'm in the West Coast working my hour shift, and my bosses were not understanding at all. They did not care, and they really shouldn't have to care. But I had asked them to at least negotiate with me so I could watch the meeting, get my hours, and then, fix whatever or do whatever they want me to do. They refused to do that, and it was just a whole left. Like, mentally, it was stressful because, they kind of treat it as a real job. They were like, we're going to put you on a PIP because you're not making your hours. And I'm like, well, how the hell am I supposed to make my hours when you're not giving me anything to do?
I don't know.
Yeah, I should not have to be at a meeting for you to give me something to do, is what I'm trying to say. And the person they put me on a PIP with was with another student, because the person who I was under, super cool dude, he was like literally trying to explain to them every day what my work schedule and how we could try to make it work. And he ended up graduating, fortunately for him, congratulations. But like I was saying, the person who they put me underneath was another student who was very unprofessional and had a tone, like she kept talking to people condescendingly. And when I reported her for that, because again, I do not like that, you do not get to talk to me in no kind of different way, she goes, the director goes, it's inappropriate for you to tell another student that they're talking to you condescendingly.
What?
What does that mean? On top of that too, as the more I'm thinking about it, and I'm so happy that I graduated with the people that I did, because it seemed like we were all in a similar mindset. Mind you, my graduation class was like 6 people. We are not a big class. And one person said, I'm not gonna say his name because I don't want him to get in trouble, but he said, I feel like this is just a cash and grab for Full Sail. And we were all like, yeah.
You got me.
It's really not that hard to find out that Full Sail's game design, it was not really, I'll say it like this. People who graduated their bachelor's from game development design had much less knowledge in their game design program compared to people who didn't even get a bachelor's in game development or design. Personally, I felt left at the program questioning if my instructors actually had shipped a game or even knew how to make a game, because majority of the time we were only doing production stuff instead of actual game design and level. We only had, I want to say, 2 or 3 classes out of the year where we had to work in a group project and actually build a game, whereas the rest of it was just straight up just production, which I don't know if you guys are aware, production is nothing like game design, and it's very it's tedious work that I could not do myself. I think that's a special someone who's organized well enough to keep track of everything, like the time scheduling, who's building what, who has enough hours. Personally, that was not for me, and that was majority of my class of people that were like, nah, this is not, we are not building anything, we're not learning anything. In fact, let me give you an example. One project was literally go on Unreal Engine and find a specific a specific tutorial to follow on Beatbot or whatever that robot's name is that was on Unreal Engine 5.1 or 5.2. And that's when I was like, we all asked him, we were like, what specific chapter do you want us to learn? Because Unreal Engine has like a whole thing of chapters for you to go by. And he goes, oh, just choose one. Like, come on, man. Like,
You serious?
When you're paying that much money, you expect deep technical knowledge, and there's probably about like 2 professors that had that deep knowledge of how to work Unreal Engine, how to build stuff. You expect production pipeline experience, like you expect modern engine workflows. You expect to graduate feeling industry ready. I didn't feel that way. a lot of what I built, including the FPS project, came from self-teaching, from YouTube, from experimentation, from failure. That's the part that people generally do not like, especially here other Full Sail graduates. They hate hearing that a lot of us are learning from YouTube, and unfortunately, game development is a skill-based type of thing that you have to learn. You can't, Full Sail was not teaching any of that, unfortunately. You know, again, I'm not trying to make this sound bitter or anything, because it's not like Full Sail University is a bad school in general. It's just you spend all this money to learn something just to realize you're not learning anything, and then you feel even bad when you see Udemy has like a sale for $2.99, if not 99 cents sometimes, where you can literally learn how to do all this stuff by yourself, and you're like, I just got into $50,000 in debt from the school that barely taught me anything, not even realizing the professors themselves probably don't know much of them either.
Man, this is some bullshit!
And I realized that with another project that I'm showing in this video, which is, knowing me, I'm going to align it. The video that I'm showing you right now, during my internship, because I had gotten into it with the main person, the main woman who was leading into it, I went to a different person for the internship. His name is Robert. I'm going to say his name because he's a cool dude. And, you know, he had me explain everything to him from beginning to end to what exactly happened. And I was just explaining. I didn't feel like I was really appreciated, or they realized that my time was kind of tight compared to other people. And as I'm, you know, making this project step by step, he's looking at it and he's like, this is damn near a full game. And he looked at my past, because I did get salutatorian at Full Sail for the creative writing, and he was just like, you know, I've known and had to dealt with a lot of bad students, and you're not one of them. He was like, I've never seen, and well, I'm not going to say never, but, and I think he might have been exaggerating, but he said to me, you're very organized and very creative. Don't let anybody stop you from believing in yourself, including X, Y, and Z, because I'm not saying her name in this video. And that really made me think about a lot of things. And one of the things was like, it sucks that such good professors are stuck in such a crappy department, you know, with other crappy people. But, you know, moving on from that, and just to give a little bit of hope, inspiration, and tips, typically studios care about your portfolio. They care about whether your systems work. They care about whether you understand how to solve problems. They care about what you can build. The degree itself is not what's going to get you hired. Your ability does. So what I want to also say, something very important, this isn't just a game development or game design industry problem. Everyone right now, that whether they're in tech or, you know, business administrative, they are all struggling. Designers are struggling, writers are struggling, even people in fields that are considered stable are struggling. I kid you not. Just last week, I met someone who has a business administrative degree, something that should not be hard to get a job in. Said she went from working with a bunch of cranky old men to being laid off, and then now she's working at an animal shelter. You can't tell me that's not struggling. Even on LinkedIn, you'll see these seniors, and it broke my heart because I knew one of them personally at EA. He was a senior for game design, and I had no clue he had gotten laid off. Well, last time I saw him, and hopefully he's gotten some help. He was homeless. He was living in a motel on the brink of being homeless. And I'm hoping that he got his title back, because there's no way a game designer, a senior level, should be on the brink of homelessness, you know? You know, the job market in general is tough across the board, whether you're a lawyer, a doctor, a game designer, a software engineer. It's tough for everyone. And that's not, so, you know, this is just to make sure, like, if you're feeling discouraged, if you're watching this video, it's not just you, it's not just game developers, it's all the industry going through the shifts right now. And I want to clear something up, because I myself was just told this. A lot of people right now are thinking it's H-1B visas, students taking their jobs. They're struggling themselves. That's how serious this is. I was just talking to a man from Mumbai, and he said he couldn't get it himself because everybody is struggling. Mind you, he graduated Mumbai University. I don't know if you guys know this. That's one of the toughest schools for software engineer and software development. So if that's not clicking to you that this right now we are all going through it, I don't know what else will, but just know it is not just you, it is everyone. Now that's why it's very important right now to just build real skill while you have the chance, because when the market tightens, competition is going to increase no matter what. And when the competition increases, the strongest portfolios survive. And that's not meant to scare you, it's meant to really ground you. If you're going to game development, understand you're entering a very competitive field in an already competitive economy, which means you need to, strong work, real projects, proof of ability, and not just a piece of paper. Because trust me, I've done that. I'm thinking, oh yeah, if I just sketch this out, they'll see that I can draw. No, it's not at all. That's not it at all. And mind you, I want to make this very clear. I'm not saying that school is useless. I'm saying it depends on the program. Because if you, for example, have a very creative heart and you're like, I want to get a degree in music. Okay, you can get a degree in music, but don't think that just because you graduated with a bachelor's or master's or PhD, that means that, you're good to set a job. No, because at this point, we all, follow the copy and paste routine. Work hard, graduate, pay off your debt. Now we're all work hard, graduate, don't get a job, can't pay off your debt.
This time, you're gonna be back on
I
top.
came all the way over to this motherfucker. I want my money.
Y'all thought we was coming all the way over here to do a crazy drug deal and shit. My heart was beating all fast. It turns out that you gonna give me money for a record deal.
I want my money.
I got this whole new sound I've been working on too. I really want you to hear it. It's crazy.
This is gonna make everything in your life better, and nothing anyone can do is gonna stop it. Nothing.
I want my motherfucking money.
So just hear that out. That is not, we're going through it, man. Full Sail's creative writing gave me structure, critique, and realism. The game design master's program did not give me the technical depth that I expected. In fact, I will say, even as much as I hate that program, their game, student career advisors, they were the main ones to be like, you have to build your portfolio. Because even the game program did not do that. And of course, why would they? They didn't even have us build a game. It was probably like I probably was able to build one full game in a group of people. So I didn't even get game industry experience going to the school for that, but I did get writing industry experience from Full Sail. So again, it really depends on the program. And mind you, I'm just talking about this specific school. That's probably all schools in America right now. If you're considering going into game design, please ask hard questions and don't do the dumb stuff that I did. For example, I know a lot of people say, oh, if you're going to go to game design, go to Harvard, or not Harvard, but if I can remember that name. What is that name? Just found it. DigiPen. I heard DigiPen is one of the best schools to go to. And as much as I would love to go back to school and get it, I'm not willing to get my debt any higher than what it is right now, especially since I'm pretty much about to be paid off. But what I'm trying to say is that basically if you're gonna go, just do your research on the school, because SCAD and Full Sail and LA Film School, they're all very predatory schools. So if they hear, oh yeah, I love writing, or I love music, or they're gonna definitely gear it in your way, like, oh yeah, we have the best school for that. I mean, just look at their pages. SCAD has a whole freaking Mario in the middle of one of their dorm rooms, and then SCAD they promote all the time how people have graduated and worked there, not acknowledging any of the struggles that it took them years after graduating, what they had to do. And when I say, ask hard questions, I'm saying ask if instructors have shipped a real game. Any AAA or indie games, ask to see graduate portfolios, ask how technical program really gets. Like how hard is the program? I'm saying this because debt without skill is dangerous. And I'm not saying this from bitterness. I'm saying this basically from responsibility. I get messages all the time asking if they should enroll in Full Sail, if I could just say yes without context, if I could explain what it's like, and truth be told, I think this is the only way to get it through people's head. It really depends on the program, but if you are thinking about going inside their game program, there is too many complaints in their gaming programs, both bachelor's and master's, for me to say yes. Because from my own experience, realistically, it sucks.
It's trash.
And again, I don't know if the professors that I had at the time even had shipped a real game.
Nope.
So everything you're seeing here, Stitch, the FPS, the environment work, all of these Blender projects and game design, full games, they came from me deciding to keep learning outside of school. And that's the real thing that matters to me. Not that I graduated from Full Sail and didn't learn anything, but because I'm using my time to improve my skill. Losing that Stitch recording, it did, again, it hurt because I really wanted to document that growth, but I'll redo it with a different character. Like, I think his name is Lich from Amazing, almost said Amazing. Jake the Dog and Human Adventure Time. There it is. Don't judge me. I have a terrible memory, but anyway, and plus I think Stitch, I don't want to say he was easy, but the Lich would be more of a challenge for me because I've never done a skeleton with what looks like cloth hanging from his face. It'll be better, clearer, more intentional. Because at the end of the day, this isn't really about Full Sail, it's about ownership. It's about realizing that no school, no program, no degree is going to magically make you industry ready, but you have to build the school yourself. Or I said skill yourself. Ugh, I'm trying to go on my Captain American freaking speech and
shut up, bitch.
God. Anyway, you have to struggle through it. You have to fail. You have to sit there when the recording doesn't save, when the job applications don't get responses, when the market feels nearly impossible, and build anyway. That is what this channel is going to be about. It's not going to be about perfection because God knows I cannot be perfect when it comes to 3D modeling or gaming, coding especially. Software development is possibly the hard, I love it and I hate it at the same time. But and I'm not gonna pretend that everything worked out smoothly either, and neither should any of y'all that are watching that are looking for gaming. But this is showing the real process of becoming better. So yes, I lost the Stitch recording. Yes, I'm gonna be trying to push out more videos about not just gaming, but actually showing the games that I'm making. But this is here to show I didn't lose the skill, and that's the difference. So I'm coming in more confident this year, and I will say I'm not going to promise to try to record every day because that would be impossible, but I'm definitely going to try to push out videos at least once a week. And I'm hoping to all of my gamers out there, both the ones that play and make the games, please don't give up. We're all in this together right now, and we can start building projects together. Now, you guys stay calm, strong, please be mature, and have a nice one. I will see you in the next one. See you later. And like and subscribe. Thank you.